Welcome to Moose Preparedness. I'm Moose, coming at you today from just sun's peeking just over the treetops now, which is wonderful. It's definitely fall, y'all. And I wanted to come at you today with a thought. And I know I've had other videos up about preparedness and why you should be prepared, why you should have things squared away, or what to do about it. But I want you to think about why. What is your compelling reason to do something? There's a very, very, very smart man who I've known my whole life. And he was my dad. Is my dad. He's still around. And one of the things he always told us was, what is your compelling reason, or what is their compelling reason for doing something? Like, why didn't this person do this? Why didn't you do that? Well, what was your compelling reason? What was the so what? Why did you want to do that? It's a great question if you think about it. You can go back to the 5 whys from the Stoics. Why? Well, I want to prepare. Why? Well, I think things are going to get bad. Why? Because of this. Why? You go down that route. But one of the things that I wanted to try and get you to focus on is, why do we do anything that we do? And usually it's because there's a compelling reason. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, if you just want to lose weight because you look better, may not work out well. Maybe it will. Maybe that's the motivator that you need. You can say, hey, I want to be able to walk my kids down the aisle when they get married. I want to see my kids as kids. Like, that's a compelling reason. I don't want to be hooked up to pharmaceuticals for the rest of my life. Like many of the folks in our nation are, where it's like, hey, if I don't have this high blood pressure pill, this diabetic medication, if I don't have these things, I'm gonna die. Well, that's not good. So I don't want that. That is an extremely compelling reason for me to try and stay healthy. So what's the compelling reason to try and prepare? For any of you who have not been through a kind of SHTF situation, or you use the, it's going to be a grid down, nuclear weapons and war and rah, rah, rah. Like, it doesn't have to be that. SHTF can be as simple as, hey, mom or dad or both of them lost their jobs. Wouldn't it be nice to know that you don't have to worry about food? I don't know how much you all spend, but I have a larger family, and we spend on average about $200 to $250 a week on food. But it's really nice to know that, hey, if I want more eggs and they're $5 a carton, I don't have to go buy them because I've got chickens. If I want fresh meat, I also have chickens. I mean, it sounds, we've only got one that we're looking at potentially. She might be becoming a chicken sandwich because she's not laying anymore. But what is your compelling reason to do that? Well, the best example I had for that, or the best, explanation is of what preparing is. It's to perpetuate normalcy for the people I love and care about. So what does that mean? I want to make sure that if, come whatever may, my kids and my wife are not stressed because we have the basics covered. I have food, I have water, I have shelter, I have a way to stay warm, I have ways to stay cool. So no matter what happens, we can kind of have our homeostasis from there, and then we can improve out. And this was truly key during Helene. So if you think about what happened in that aftermath, it describes pretty much a lot of the SHTF kind of scenarios. There was a grid down. We had no power, which meant that we couldn't buy things because there was no way to do currency transactions, and most of the point of sale systems for local stores are all electronic, right? There was no water in large swaths of the area. All right, so now we've gone after all of the utilities. The grid is down. That, to me, should hit the fan scenario. It wasn't necessarily without rule of law yet, but there was definitely people who were behaving badly. Interesting. Depending on where you're at, if you're up in North Carolina and those places, they had a legitimate, they had disease going around, right? There's a large part of those rivers that are up there that are completely toxic. A lot of reports of folks who are getting sick from the silt and the water up there. There's talk, I don't know for sure, but there's rumors that they've got radioactivity or radioactive material in there because of some of the plants that are up there that got seeped into the water. People getting radiation sickness. How is none of that a SHTF? And that was just a storm. Now you take it to somewhere else. Like if you can't buy or purchase or move because you lost your job, that's an SHTF scenario too, right? So I want people to kind of get out of their box of thinking it has to be a global pandemic or the total socioeconomic collapse of the United States or of the world, or it has to be these grandiose situations like a hurricane. It could be as simple as, hey, I've gotten into a car accident and I can't work. I've gotten into a car accident and I'm paralyzed. I mean, the most dangerous thing we do every day for most of us is driving to work. If you look at it statistically speaking, I'm driving a three-quarter ton pickup. I'm probably going to be okay in most situations in this vehicle, but if I hit somebody or somebody hits me or I hit a bus, that's my own little SHTF situation, because now it's like I have lost my transport. I could potentially be hurt or injured very badly. How long does my medical response take? Well, during Helene, whenever the power lines were all down and everybody was out driving, trying to go get fuel, and they were frantic, guess what, man? You were self-recovering. So if you got into a car accident, a really bad one, you couldn't even call 911 in our area because the phone lines didn't work. And when they got the makeshift towers up, 911 was overloaded, and they switched to 311, and then that one didn't work. So how are you going to call for help? Boy, I hope you got a tourniquet in case you got something hurt. I hope you've got a medical kit. So you kind of see where I'm getting at. The whole preparedness thing perpetuates upon having normalcy when there is no normalcy. It's being able to go, okay, in most basic situations, and even in some of the tougher ones, I have the ability and the skills and the tools, because they all go hand in hand, right? I have that of the ability to use it, the skills to use it, and the tools to use in order to perpetuate normalcy for those that I love and I care about. And I love and care about me too. So I kind of have a self-interest in, I want to make sure that I survive whatever happens. So as you look forward, I would really encourage you to kind of look and go, okay, how do you perpetuate normalcy for you and your family? How do you add or stock up? And if you're really struggling with like, hey, I'm not sure I need to do X, Y, or Z, or I always have to have my coffee every day. Cool, got it. If coffee in the morning for you is a normalcy and that helps get you in the right mindset of, hey, you can do this and kick on the day, that's fine. I don't begrudge that against you at all. But you need to start practicing with that now and have coffee stored up on hand. A way to cook the coffee, a way to filter the coffee. Is it instant coffee? Whatever. But if that one thing helps you perpetuate normalcy in your household, do it. If it's, I need to get a $4,000 rifle to help perpetuate normalcy, I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's gone through many bad places and lived all over the world, there's only a few times when a rifle has actually been beneficial to have around. And you got to remember, 15, almost 16 years now in the military, the only time I've ever had a rifle that has made any sense of difference is when we had, this is probably going back 5 years ago, we had a guy who decided to lose his shit while driving with his spouse. I guess it was his girlfriend. It's kind of a weird situation. He was drunk. He got out of his car and they were driving down the highway. We lived off of the highway out in the middle of bumfull lot nowhere. And he got out and started shooting above the house, or shooting as he was walking down the road. Now, in the country, you sometimes hear shots at night because people are defending our neighbors had sheep, they had chickens, okay, I'm thinking fox, coyote, something like that. But this guy, you could hear him go, you mother beep, just going off, and then he was shooting at the same time. The the only reason why I say a rifle helped is because it put an end to the threat to my family, because had a single round impacted my house, he would have been met with force. I had the beat on him. He had no idea that I was there. I was on the phone with the police at the same time, and he happened to not shoot my house, which saved his life. But he was absolutely 1 pound away on a 3-pound trigger of ending up on the ground. That is the only time in, oh God, I've been around 4 decades that a rifle has actually come into play. But you know what's coming into play a lot? Food, water, security blankets, all that kind of stuff. So perpetuate normalcy for those whom you love. Get to it. Stay safe out here.